Really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, really interesting how he considered the fold so heavily because people just under bluff in these $400 tournaments. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what are his bluffs? You know, like if we really think about it, like sure, ace high, like ace high has some showdown value if you had ace five, and when he raises the turn with maybe some backdoor diamond draw or something like that, and he actually gets called in on this kind of board. Like, what hands do you have that you're folding?
And it's gonna have some misdraws and things too. So I think calling is the only option myself. Let's see if Boogaloo got away from it. Ooh, call is 6.
So this is close between call.
Really interesting. So call is 6, raise is 7,500 is 10 points. And I'm going to say he said that because this is a very bad player. And so he thinks the very bad player is going to stack off here with worse queens a lot. I'm going to guarantee that's what he's going to say. Very interesting, though. I thought call for sure was the right answer. I never am in this spot. I don't know. Interesting spot, too. I think this is a little bit of a lesson for everyone out there, too. A lot of times, the hands we want to float with, like this one, are better as raises. So this kind of falls in that category.
Yeah, and he was kind of an echo chamber for us there, saying, you know, we just get better hands to call and worse to fold.
Yep.
Like, he's going to have some gut shots in his range. He's going to have spade draw. He's going to have king X. And we kind of, I mean, we kind of identify kind of what cards are going to be bad for us on future streets. And we're aware how to proceed on those cards.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's a very good point, man. You right.
That was the best. You didn't say anything. You won. Just straight up.
You won. I'm just spewing.
All right, so ooh, look at this. You're not opening this. You just looked at this. You're not opening.
Button cut off, high deck, low jack, under the gun one. You are right.
Come on now. Okay. I am. So let's see if he.
He's got to open it, or there wouldn't be a hand.
It wouldn't
I'm
be a
already
coin.
down on points.
You're already down on points in real life. Now, obviously, you're gonna cheat, but
I'm gonna evolve.
you're gonna adapt, right?
All right, let's play.
I'm going to cry if he says he's folding here. Like, if he's like, yeah, you should be folding this in this kind of tournament, and you were actually right. All right, cool.
Wah, wah.
Like a spot where we have
Ah!
standard,
Yes.
and the reason is because queen.
I just want to say for the record that this is the best 3-point score I've ever gotten in my life. Because the right answer was fold.
The right. But you heard what he said about the tables. This is a 3K.
Here comes the excuses. 10
The
points
excuses
fold.
to
It says
open
right
if your
here.
table is particularly tight and weak. Welcome to the $5 2K world. I mean, the $11 10K. I'm opening this, yeah, for sure.
This is the best 3 points of my life.
Oh, that's hilarious. And everybody's 14.
Nailed it. What the hell kind of play is that from King Queen? Who does that?
Who the hell? Yeah, so Mad Dog.
Jonathan Little's an absolute crusher, so it's nice to have him.
Yeah, I agree, and I
He's
always
just
love
coaching.
playing right after sessions like this because I feel like my brain's warmed up. I'm thinking through things, and so it's a good way to start your session for sure.
Right. All right, guys, this is it.
What's up, Mike? You want to give a gist? He was saying Narco Cop was playing about D-pipping about 28% of hands. He had been very aggressive in this $10 buy-in, and here are the options to fold, to call, to raise to 1,200, raise to... What? Wait a minute, he made it 800, and my man's giving options to 12 and 1,400. So it's already getting kind of spicy. That's so nasty. To be on the site with these other crushers, well-known poker public figures is pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't mention that when I was kind of giving a little intro here too. Assassinato, Matt Affleck, John Little, all coaches on the site, so very highly respectable, quality poker content.
Yep, Evan Jarvis as well. Remember Evan Jarvis, Matt Affleck, Assassinato, John Little.
pass, so I guess that just makes sense. He just have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's interesting, though. I
How
thought that
many
was
points you got?
interesting.
You didn't do that bad. 45.
I like how you just pat me on the back. You didn't do that bad. Well, yeah, good job, buddy. Like,
The back.
I remember I got the higher score in the first one. So, we're 1 for 1, buddy.
I just want to know.
Calling, guys. Let's see if we're good.
Similar situation. That's pre-flop? I think pre.
All right, guys, we're checking, I guess. Oh, for fuck's sake.
One of the things I see people when it comes to poker is when you can get to the turn, there's an opportunity.
When you're facing a min raise or just a touch more than a min raise, and there's an ante in play, which is going to be the case in most tournaments, I think, going forward, you want to defend pretty wide. If your opponent's making a 2.
All right, cool. You're going 1,400.
I'm going 1,400, guys.
I'm gonna go call with the honor. Let's see what happens.
All right, and
I would fold in game though, for the record, in case that's the winning end.
You won. You win. I have to concede. You win.
14K.
14K, let's do it.
Well, no, we cannot win. This is a pretty rough spot because
Damn it.
Mm-hmm. Where do you gonna get my chat? They like naughty things. They like just beer, alcohol,
All right, let's do I can do a $10 ACR.
$10 ACR giveaway courtesy of my man Toe. For me beating that ass heads up in this. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. We'll do this. We'll have to do it at least once a week, man. And then we'll do it every week a couple times.
So it's a tie.
I guess we got to give out $10 to each other's communities. We'll just do our own $10 free roll for each. Or does that sound fair?
Yes. Do you know what this means?
You win. I give his chat $10. Take it. You
So that's
filthy
cool because we have
animal.
2 ties and then a win from you and a win from me. This is like the epic battle. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, we're even Stevens.
This is awesome.
Take it.
I love it.
You know.
Stop. We got a giveaway going. Let's run the giveaway for the $10 ACR winner. Closing the giveaway. Drawing the winner. My man Sebs are getting the $10 ACR giveaway for this one. What up, party people? How you guys doing? What up, Matt? Puck, thanks for 32 months. Contrast, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate you guys. Dennis, good morning. Stormer Norman, what's up? Stu, how you guys doing? We're back. It's Saturday. Time to get better. I'm very loud, really? Is that better? Is that better? Should be better. What up, Sad? How you doing? I'll fuck with it. I been doing some. I had mic issues last week, which is why the stream didn't happen. So, cool. Good enough. What up, guys? Thanks for the hype train. I appreciate you. It's Saturday. We're back. We're back on schedule. This is the last Saturday, I believe. Sixes is got the football thing with his kid. So he'll be returning to us next week. So good news. We made it. We did it. We kept the stream alive. Tell us about what's going on. I mean, it was cool. It was whatever's. There was some cool booths that lots of anime booths and like Stream Deck had a booth.
Chess.com had a booth. Shit like that. Some up-and-coming games had booths that you could go check out. And then they had this big arena. That was kind of cool. And there was like, I don't know, it must have been 30-some streamers, like game streamers that were all kind of competing in an arena. That was kind of cool. You can go check out. We didn't go to any of the what are those called? Speeches or lectures or anything. So it was cool. It was alright. How was the age demographic? Marlon was definitely the oldest guy there. Definitely. Yeah, it's in Vegas. That's why we didn't stream yesterday. Global sent us there to go check it out. But like it was good. It was like alright. I mean, if you're into like I don't really go beyond Twitch poker very much. Like there's a couple of chess streamers that I watch, and then that's it. Like, and then I know some of the big gamer ones, Dr. Disrespect, guys like that, right? But I don't like spend a lot of time on Twitch outside of the stream stuff because my schedule's so crazy. And so, there's some, I'm sure the big giant streamers up there, but we didn't really know very many of them. A couple of years when I'm out of school, I have to come out and support GPO and you at TwitchCon. There you go, Brian. Time to give you a shirt, wear a GBT hat. Actually, it's got to go the other way. I have global hats and GBT shirts. Disrespect Man 2019, yeah. He's here doing something else, though. Because the man has a life. Yeah, because I'm a grown-ass man with a fucking family and shit to do. It's like, I didn't say it like that, but I guess on a lot of levels, that's just the truth, Contrast. That's just the truth. All right, let's get this started. PokerCoaching in the chat for you to get into the giveaway. For me to give you $5 to gamble on getting better at gambling. This is where some people make their money. There you go. There you go. This is it. This is the bankroll booster. I see you streaming in there. All the legends. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to pick a quiz. I don't know what quiz we're going to pick. Yeah, we got to cut this one right on time, too, because the fucking UFC already started. That shit freaked me out. I was going through Twitter, and I was like, oh, yeah, first matchup. I forget the new guy. He's one of these Russian guys that's crushing the UFC. I can't think of his name. But it was his debut, and everyone was freaking the fuck out. And it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. They're like, yeah, he's up on deck right now. I was like, what the fuck? It's because the UFC's in Abu Dhabi. And so it's like literally it's going on inside here already. And it's a big day. Volkanovski fight. What's the other fight? What's the co-main? I just blanked. Oh, Usman. So, all right, guys. Let's do this. Draw in. Been a couple months itching to play. Nice. Oh shit. Esprit in the house. Winning the first set. We'll have him up on the main screen. It's kind of funny. Like I got wrecked for 4K and buy-ins on Sunday, so I've been itching to like not play for a couple of days. Just to lick my wounds. Esprit. Going up against boom, Mr. Monkey. Legend on legend violence. Where's my Cokes and I already drank my Coke. And like those popcorn puppies. Dude, I haven't had those in forever. Those things are legit. The Cheetos popcorn puffs are fucking legit. Yeah, I don't know who the guys. I have to look them up. I mean, all the Russian guys have similar names and similar beards and similar styles and similarly are just destroying the UFC right now. That's pretty crazy to watch. But Shara Magomedov. I saw his match was up. I was like, oh shit.
All right, guys, let's play this. So, oh fuck, God, I am not ready. I am not ready for this shit. I am fried. All right, cool. We got a spree on the main screen. We got monkey on the side screen for this one. And don't forget, guys, the score you see up at the top is going to be a little honked up because I have two competing browsers and they're going to fight. So I got my trusty pad and paper here, and I will be keeping track of the scores. All right, let's do this. Bluff in the main event.
Ace 10 offsuit against an under the gun limp from a player playing about 100. 8 big blinds deep. Should we fold, call, raise to 900, or raise to 2,000?
You're seeing it happen, Cyrus. You're watching the browser battle. It's going to happen right before your eyes. All right. Do we ISO here, or do we pass? I would ISO bigger. I too would ISO bigger. I was waiting for my comments there, Monkey, but I too would ISO bigger. Especially when we're like 200 fucking, I guess we're 100 bigs deep essentially. Like everyone else has got 267, so we're like almost 200 bigs effective, right? Ashes would fold. You want none of this under the gun limpy shit. None of this under the gun limpy shit. 2K for contrast. 2K for Cyrus. How much is 2K? That's Jesus Christ. Almost 7x. Spree says 3x, going 900. And then Monkey, I saw where you said you would ISO bigger, but I didn't see what size that was. I'm assuming that means 2,000. 2K for Monkey. 8 numbers, yeah, but we're going to play against the limper ashes, right? Like, I would ISO this 100%. For sure. Like, if I was playing, though, I would go, like, 1,500, actually. Like, who said that? Matt Nickel. Like, I would literally go 1,500, too. Like, I would normally 3 to 4x 200 bigs deep open anyways, because we're so fucking deep. Plus 1 for the limper, right? So, something around 5x, 6.6x. It can't be too big of a mistake, but it does seem kind of fucking heavy. What up, Greg? How you doing, buddy? It does seem kind of heavy. Top 1,500 feels better? Yeah, that's where I'm at, Brian. Something like that. This guy's got 106 bigs, which makes me think he fucking limped previously. We've seen him, he's a limper guy. He's one of the limper guys. And so that would just make me think 5x seems pretty natural. 2K seems big, but I don't hate it. I think jail goes 900 too. So Monkey's going 2K on the side screen and 900 for Spirit. Let's find out. Yeah, he does like the bigger size.
This is a situation where I think a lot of people just make it 900 automatically, but I
think it's a little big, but hey, it ain't crazy.
1,500 and maybe even bigger. If you think the players yet to act are pretty
1,500 and maybe bigger.
1,500, make it bigger. Make it 2,000. It's fine to put money in the pot, especially with a hand like Ace 10 off that really wants to play in position and heads up. I don't think limping behind has much merit because we're just going to have a bunch of limpers, and Ace 10 does not do especially well very multi-way. So we do make it 2,000. Only the under the gun limper calls.
Nice one, Esprit.
I think under the gun limper is going to have a lot of pairs, suited connectors, and suited aces for the most part. Maybe just some nonsense. It's tough to say exactly what the under the gun limper has. Whenever you're playing against players like this, always try to figure out how wide they are limping and if they will call big sized raises with a lot of the limping range. But in general, most people limp the implied odds hands just hoping to see a cheap flop. But then they don't fold. So let's keep that in mind going forward. Flop comes 8-3-3. 2 clubs. They check. Should we check? Bet 1,000.
I have thoughts.
Bet 2,000. Or bet 4,000.
What are you guys doing? This misses a lot of shit for both of us. Won 300 at a cash game last night. What, Greg? You like actually play poker? What the hell? Nice. Congratulations. That always feels good, man. I was just talking about how I tanked 4K in buy-ins on Sunday. I wish I was you. 2K feels unnecessary. I mean, it's okay. Like, if this guy's going to limp call with a wide range, things like, you know, weak suited aces and paint and shitty pairs and shit like that, then fucking go 2K. You know, that's why we take that note, praying. Like, you know, I always do, like, you know, if I ISO 5 here and they limp call, then I make a note, you know, limp call 5, right? And the next time when I have ace king, I'm going 6. And there's some unicorns out there where I actually have, like, limp call 10s and 12s. And if you could, like, you know, ISO a guy with aces to 12x and know he's going to call a high percentage of the time, then ISO the guy to fucking 12x. Just go for the mass crazy exploit. Can't do that against everybody, but there are people out there for sure. All right. As played, 2K. Oh, Contrast gave the quote, as played. You always know you fucked up when your coach says, as played. Feel like 2K, this was supposed players. I like Jeremiah Williams, size and gear, bet 50. 2K for Monkey. 4K for Spree. Going big, hot. Fuck you, scared main event player. That's funny. 1.5K, but more like 1K than 2K for... Okay, somewhere in the middle for Ashes. Said sizing up to 4. Just going pot. Hate under the gun lippers. Fucking hate them. I want to pot this bitch. Fuck. That's funny. I see that. I see that praying. Did I say it backwards out loud? I see it on the screen. Monkey 2K, Spree 4K. Yeah, I thought it's like it's one of those things, especially these Lippy Callie players, where like if you go the standard 1500, like this guy's gonna call because he's like, oh, you never hit this shit, and wait for you to check turn and blah 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 blah. For those of you going 4K, I mean that kind of solves that. He's definitely not gonna float you very wide when you're going pretty close to pot. So like if I go 1500 here, I almost know like I'm pretty much against Lippy Callie double barreling anything that makes sense on the turn. Maybe even almost pure on the turn. Maybe not a club as much. Probably not a club as much. But so there's that. I think 4K going pot is just too much. Like I 2K seems more natural. 1K seems too small. 2K seems more natural. 4K seems too big. I think just because of the options, like 2K kind of feels like it has to be it. B. Jeremiah Williams says Monkey. All right, so let's check it out. Spree goes 4K. 2K for Monkey.
We probably have the best hand in the spot.
Hated 4K.
If we bet and get raised,
10
it's
points
pretty
for the 2K.
dicey, but it's probably just a fold against most players. They may raise something like pocket sixes or flush draw, but you know, whatever, they get to win if they have that. The question is, do we bet tiny or medium? And I think if we bet tiny, which I realize is probably the GTO play, like
yeah, they just float you every
you don't
time.
bet tiny when you have a range advantage, which we very likely do here. You are essentially just nudging money into the pot with a range that is favored over your opponents. That said, I do think a lot of players, particularly if they've not studied poker all that much, don't realize that, and they may just raise you a ton because they just may think small bet means weak. I raise.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible, right? So I think you probably want to bet slightly bigger than tiny, and for that reason, I think 2,000 is going to be slightly better than 1,000 in this scenario. We can still get called by all sorts of draws. Maybe they float with stuff like Queen Jack of Hearts, right? So we can certainly get value from some worse hands with even a 2,000 bet. And if they fold, that's obviously fantastic. You got to realize it's not like 2,000 is big.
You got to realize.
I would not go big like 4,000. When you start to go 4,000 and you get called, then you're actually going to be in pretty rough shape. We do go 2. They call. Turns a jack of spades and they check. Should we check? Bet 3,000. Bet 6,000. Or bet 12,000.
You got to realize, I now hate this quiz. I mean, it's pretty. You can punish him without going pot. Because, like, then, like, the hands he calls with, like, he never calls with worse, right? Like, I guess you just pot once and then you're done with it. Versus bet medium and then have options on the turn. Meh. That's a terrible attitude to have toward limpers. 6K for praying. You look at everyone's 250 bigs except for your opponent. That's because he limp calls. That's why. Set going 12,000 over bet. What do I think about overbet? Check for rashes. Contrast like 6K. I don't like the big bet size on the 12 up on the 12K unless there's some additional draws. This jack is nothing. 6K for meatball. 6K but mixed 12K says Matt. 6K for pucks. Try to exploit the specific hand against a limper range. Get this fucker to fold. 6K for Cyrus. Not peanut would flush. A peanut would flush. Peanut would check. 6K is the most common bet size on the turn, according to Affleck. Yes. 6K for Monkey. Big checks here. Yeah, well, someone said about bringing in more draws on the turn that connect but don't complete. The jack does that. Bringing in hands like 9-10 and Queen 10. Queen 10 of hearts, 9-10 of hearts, Queen 10 of clubs, 9-10 of clubs. I don't know if this over bets. You're never getting like 9s and 10s to fold. And if you bet 6K, you're getting things like Ace King to fold or whatever. I guess he limped, so you're getting things like, I don't know. 6K feels more natural. Overbet's pretty interesting though. Oh, that's a good point. 12K. Well, 12K is like a little less than half their stack. Pushes out flush draw. Ashes. Oh, man. I think it's 6K. 6K just feels unnatural. This might be an overbet spot in theory. I'm going to find out, actually. Oh, we can't because it's a limper. Fuck. Yeah, this might be an overbet spot in theory. I think 6K is better. That's what I would do. Spree checking. And Monkey going 6, I believe. Yes.
The jack is a neat card because it
Check
certainly
is,
can hit a
9
lot
points,
of my
though.
bluffs. The question is does it
10 points
dwell with a
for
lot of
the
the
6K.
opponent's check calls? And I think I'm going to have way more jack X than they will. And I would obviously still like to value bet aces, kings, queens, right? So because they're going to have a lot of hands containing an 8, like 9-8 suited, and also just under pairs, I think this is a pretty good spot to bet using a chunky size. If you said you wanted to check, I think that's certainly reasonable too. It feels kind of bad to just let the opponent realize their equity with the flush draws, though, and also to just check down and lose to pocket 4s. So I realize this ace high may have a bit of showdown value, but I don't think it's quite enough in this spot. And the question becomes, if I bet, are we going to blast the river? And, you know, you want to think ahead about that kind of thing. So anyway, they check, and I'm going to go for a sizable bet. I'm trying to get under pairs to fold. I'm trying to get, well, all unpaired hands to fold, besides perhaps draws. So I want to go kind of big. When I say under pairs, I mean under pairs to the 8. I don't think an 8's going to fold to any bet here, by the way. So we do go 6,000. I don't think we want to go 12. If we go 12, then when we do get called, we're just going to be horrible, horrible shape. But I think 6,000 is pretty nice, and I would definitely do this with probably Queen Jack and better for value. We do get called. River's a 9 of clubs, and the opponent checks. Should we check? Bet 5,000, bet 10,000, or go all in?
I would argue that when you bet 6 and you get called, you're in horrible shape. To be fair. I agree with betting 6, but he said if you bet 12, you're in horrible shape when called. I think if you bet 6, you're in horrible shape when called as well. I think it's equal. Meatball hates the 9 of clubs. Checking. Monkey checking right away. Cyrus giving up. Wave the white flag. I think you still got to bet the ace-10. Ashes on the turn. We knew this guy was limpy calling. We knew he was calling the flop. Like, I kind of gave it away on the flop. I'm like, bet 1,500, you're going to have to double barrel, like, every time. We bet 2K, it ain't that much different, right? Like, for sure. For sure. Ace-high showdown for Monkey. Checking me mad at losing to 7-8. No choice but to punt, says that Abs. You gotta shoot your way out. If this was too hard to something, then I would 100% blast this card. Probably check and hit myself when he shows 4-4 says flush. A spree checking. Both players checking. Yeah, I too would check. I mean, Limpy Callie calls twice. Now he's got a hand of some sort, and the 9 connects with all the hands of some sort. And then sometimes you lose the like block force. I would check. I don't know if Jonathan's going to say, oh, well, the guy with the flush draw might check raise here, but I don't know that happens against Limpy Callie in the ISO pot. So I would say check 2. Let's find out. Oh, he wants to fucking go for it.
This is a fun one because in the main event,
he's going to say they're going to check raise the flush draw.
I'm usually going to heavily lean towards putting my bluffs in my all-in range when an all-in bet is reasonable. And an all-in bet here is roughly pot, so it's certainly a reasonable amount. I'm never going to bet 5,000 to 25% pot with anything. Because, you know, in GTO world, you typically want to bet half pot or bigger when you're in position. I do think we may want to go 10,000 with some hands in the spots. Like aces, right? Kings, queens, ace-jack. I think those hands definitely want to bet something like 10,000. If we do decide that those are good enough to value bet. Now, they may not be quite good enough to value bet, right? Because the opponent could just be sitting here with a flush. I'd obviously rather have a club in my hand to block the flush. But I think it doesn't matter that much in this spot. If they have an 8 or worse, they're just going to fold to a river shove. And I think we have to go for it. I think we have to go for it here. I don't really see how we could possibly check it back, especially if the opponent will check call the turn with any 8. And also, they may fold even a jack to a river shove, which would be fantastic. I mean, imagine they have jack 10 of hearts, and they check call turn, and then they face an all-in on the river. I mean, they lose to all my value hands, right? So I think this is a spot where I just have to go for it. I realized my hand is not particularly great to shove the river, but in the World Series main event, I'm really trying to apply pressure.
Look at him
once
going
I do
crazy
get a hold of a
exploit.
decent stack and just consistently chip up in spots like this. Obviously, your bluffs are going to fail some portion of the time. If it does fail, well, I'm back to a little bit less than a starting stack. But I do think this is a spot where once I bet the turn, we just have to go for it on the river. I don't see any other way around it. And we do want to put them all in. Exploitatively, if I had a flush here, I'd probably bet small, like half pot. Don't tell the opponents that, though. I think when we go half pot, we're going to get called way more often. We're going to get called by any jack for sure. Maybe even an 8 if they decide to hero call. But when we go all in, even though it is only 22,000 for pot, I think we're going to get a lot of folds. The opponent thought, I have it in my notes that they thought forever. They thought forever. Then they folded.
Look at Jonathan. with the Omega Flex in the main event on the river. Wow, pretty crazy. When he said like this isn't the best hand to do it, he was just exploiting the player. Fair enough. He went crazy on this guy. Kind of sick. All right, scores. 10, 20, 33 for Monkey, who takes it. 7, 8 plus 9, 17, 20 for Esprit. Getting Jags to fold. I mean, yeah, they're like Jack 10. Pretty tough, right? Jack 10 for sure. Sucks when he calls you off with like King Jack or something, right? But then like everything got there too, so it's not even like you can say, oh well, the draws missed, right? Everything got there. Wow. Tough. Super tough. I saw something that interested me. There we go. All right, let's do a new keyword. Gift sub for you. No worries, buddy. I got you. While I'm setting that up, let's do a new keyword. And that new keyword is going to be... I dream of weird toe emotes. That's funny. 6 is football. Meh. Hey, God, what's up, buddy? Thanks for hanging out. All right, we'll do no 6-6. We'll go to the no 6-6, though. So that I can do this gift up thing and you guys can get rolling. To my channel. Gift sub. Specific viewer. Command. Get #1. Pay the man his money. Done. Solid practice is God's work. Indeed. I picked this one because it said suited connectors, and I was like, oh, this will be fun. Not my strongest point. Hey, there you go, Monkey. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Alright, let's draw our winners. Winner number 1, Mr. Matt Nickel. Up on the main screen, up against a... This is going to be fun. 2 aggressive-ass Canadians. It's Canadian on Canadian violence. Here we go. 2 men enter with 3 bets, 1 man leave. Here we go, Jamlands. All right, let's do this.
Action folds to us in the hijack. What is the worst offsuit hand we should be opening here?
The worst offsuit hand. Ignore the 5-6 suited. In your range, what is your worst offsuit hand opening from the hijack? I think I know. It's funny, I didn't even look at the options, and the hand I picked is in there, so that's a good sign. Everybody's saying Jack 10-0 for now. Nobody opening King 9-0 from the hijack. Queen 10%. Yeah. Said's a cash game player. He doesn't know what it means to be 50 bigs deep. Matt saying Jack 10. Said going Queen 10. I think you meant King 7 suited, Jam Lance, and Jack 10-0. You said King 7-0, but I think you meant King 7 suited, just knowing you. King actually, I think you guys are actually right. I think that's the range, right? Pretty much all offsuit Broadway and suited sevens. And King 9 off from the cutoff seems about right. I think you kind of killed it. All right, everyone said Jack 10. Let's find out.
Jack
Nailed
10
it.
off is going to be the worst offsuit hand.
Nailed it, you
If
savages.
you're opened here. Make sure you have a wide raise first in range here. I would say that most recreational players are not hitting their full RFI here.
I have to get some caffeine.
So we raise with 6-5 suited. Can we c-bet this board with our entire range for a small sizing?
Ten five four two tone. Can we see bet 100% range against big blind defend? Yes. Contrast. Betting range. Acon. Betting range. Buck says 80%, not full range. Solver can, but I can't, says Matt. Fair enough. Don't see Sedhabs out there yet. Did I miss him? No. Sedhabs and Matt both saying no. 10-eye boards, usually we see bet. Do we see bet range? Like, I feel like I'm being tricked and it's going to be no, but I probably do too, Peanut. Like, I was literally just about to say that. Like, I pretty much see bet range here on 10-high boards, but I feel like I'm being played. Both contestants said no. Let's find out.
So,
yes. Oh, okay, cool. Sweet. I thought I was being tricked.
Small with your entire range.
Thought I was being tricked.
That holds true on this board as well. What is the worst hand that the big blind can be raising here for value most of the time?
What is the worst hand that the big blind can raise for value here most of the time? Matt with the grown king 10. This is hard for Matt because asking like, what's your worst check raise here? And Matt likes to check raise a lot. And he's got to figure out what the solver would do. King 10 for contrast as well. Ace 10s, Queen 10s in there. No 4-5s. Everyone just calling their 4-5s. Setup's Queen 10. Praying going Ace 10. Lots of King 10. Lots of Ace 10. Chamblance Queen 10, but unsure. King 10 of hearts would be a misdeal. The 10 of hearts is on the board. Yeah, 10-eye boards just always c-bet. It's just kind of one of those things. You learn these little things in the solver. Thought I was tripping there for a second, but I got the sanity check, so that was good. Six, 5 of hearts, says Monkey May I. Yeah, sure. But wow, so like fuck. It's not my worst value hand, but I feel like I would be check raising 4-5, and I would be check raising Ace 10, and I'm. No worries, Egon. No worries, buddy. I would be iffy on the King 10. Queen 10 for sure, I think I'm just calling. Hard to get called by a worst 10 when you start check raising Queen 10. So ace 10, I think. I think I'm ace 10. I think I'm ace 10. Queen 10, I think, too wide. Seb went queen 10. Matt went king 10. I mean, hijack sized up here. Oh. What, I see what you're saying. You're right, actually. 1, 2, 3 pot. So now it's definitely not king 10 and queen 10 and maybe ace 10. It might even just be 4 or 5 suited. It's either ace 10 or 4 or 5 suited because of the size up, right? Good call, Pran. Very good call. That is very true. It's because he went 2/3 pot, basically. Now we have far less check raises. Now, like, all our flush draws become calls. A lot of our 10x become calls. Good catch. Super good catch. Now I'm wondering if it's ace 10 and 4 or 5 suited, and I'm kind of leaning 4 or 5 suited. Good catch. Court awareness from Mr. KB. Hasn't played poker in 2 months. At court awareness on check. No ring rust. No ring rust for fucking KB. All right, so said queen 10, and Matt said king 10.
So even versus
king 10.
C-bet here,
Wow.
the big blind can't be raising a lot of 10x. King 10 is the worst.
King
hand.
10, still going for it.
Almost
I thought with the size of king 10 be
here
out.
on the flop. All other 10x below the king, queen 10, jack 10, 10, 9, 10, 8, etc. are almost purely called. So make sure that you are leaving
Pugs.
that type of strength in your check call range on the flop.
Even against 83% pot, king 10 was raising. Wow, just for the best king. Or best 10, rather. Wow.
Big blind does raise. Very small raise. We have an easy peel here with a 5 and a backdoor flush draw. We have to continue with all pairs on the flop, and then even a lot of ace high and even some king high hands to that size. 8 on the turn. Big blind overbet shoves about 1.3x pot. What
On an
should
8?
we do here?
What the fuck sim is this? Who this guy? I would be flabbergasted if we looked at the sim. Pucks, does that guy have any overbet jam, donk jam? Oh no, he check raised and then jam turn. I thought he just donk fucking jammed turn. He check raised and then jam turn. Alright, never mind. Take it back. I take it back. The question is, what should we do with this hand, right? Matt says, if decent equity and the solver has bluffs, call and hate it. Okay? I mean, what hands do? It's like Jack 9 spades, sets. What are the bluffs? Ace 2, Ace 3 spades. Yeah, Contrast, I was kind of thinking the same thing. You heard me. Fold in real life, but you're trying to level the solver, Matt. So call, that's your answer? Just want to make sure I'm clear. Lots of folds. Set halves folding. Ace 2, Ace 3 suited have equity here. Do. And you can get better Ace X to fold. The solver do this with Ace 10. Potentially. Less likely when the 8 comes in because the 8 brings in the straight draw. And that usually brings bet sizes down in general. Takes out overbets it takes out overbets usually without looking at the sim. That's usually what happens. This cat don't fold. Call for Matt, fold for Zed. Yeah, I would fold in game for sure because I don't think people do this correctly, let alone have bluffs in real life. In Solverland, do we call? Like, the bluffs are all the combo draws. Like, that's what it usually is. It's the big blind. I think it's like 6-9 of spades. 7-9 of spades. Ace 2, Ace 3 of spades. Jack 9 of spades. Jack 7 of spades. Ooh, I'm starting to find bluffs. I'm starting to find bluffs. Fuck. And King 10 was his worst. Fuck. He's got a lot less 10x and a lot of bluffs. Fuck. I think the solver might call 2 ashes. Bluffs don't have a ton of equity, but bluffs nonetheless. Fuck. I would never call in game, but I feel like we're supposed to. Fuck. Let's find out. Yep. Fold 7 points.
I think 6-5 is actually a better call than a hand like Jack 10 or Queen 10. They're all
because then
catchers at this point.
Yeah.
Because Big Blind won't be taking this line with Queen 10 or Jack 10 ever. So
it felt nasty till I was counting all those bluffs.
I'd rather have a pair on a straight draw and 2 pair outs. So with this specific hand, we're calling about 40%.
I haven't seen a quiz yet where Odin folded.
Pot, so we need about 40%.
Got a Thunder don't fold.
Even against Ace 10, King 10, we have about 20% equity. And then he will be bluffing at some frequency. So solver does like a defend here with 6-5, although it's somewhat close.
Woo! Whoa! Look at the low-key fucking flex by James Romero with the WPT trophy behind him and the fucking LAPC trophy behind him. You see this shit here? If you're a real fucking player, you know. Look at this shit. Fucking boss, fucking low-key flex in the background. Holy shit. Great job, Matt. Hell of a score on a tough one. Hell of a cool score. Said, like, didn't do too bad. Like, a lot of 8s and 7s. So, like, not the best option, but not the worst option either. You like Romero and his intro for ways. He's actually a quiet dude in real life. Nice guy. But, and it's funny because he's got the mohawk thing. But he's also, like, him and Jonathan both, they're, like, the same size. They're, like, you know, fucking, I don't know, 5'5", 130 pounds with clothes on. So, little guys. Compared to my giant ass. And Marlon, too. Marlon's fucking bigger than me. Big motherfuckers. Justin's skinny, but he's tall as a goddamn tree. Alright. Let's pick a... I'll tell you a 6'5". No. I'm between 6'3" and 6'4". And I'm somewhere around 250. So, you know... Linebacker big. When I have my shoes on, I'm 6'4" for sure. I'm 6 foot on Tinder. That is funny. I could. Yeah, it was a funny story. We've told this before, but you know, I have the fucking arcade. I have a full blown arcade in the other room here, and one of those games I have is NBA Jams. And Sixes was over for the series, and we were playing a bunch of NBA Jams together. And then Sixes was drunk, and we were just kind of trolling around. I think it was Paris and not the Rio. Trolling around Paris and hanging out. You know, people watching or whatever. And I can't drink anymore, but Sixes was drunk, and so he was like trying to juke people and like doing the spin behind the back move to strangers. And then we see Romero on the other end of the hall, and Sixes just goes rushing up on the guy, does the juke and dunks on him. He's got nothing in his hands, but like scared the piss out of poor James Romero. Oh, that's funny. Funny story. All right, new keyword. All right, we'll do, in my honor of that story, 6-6 jams. Yeah, it scared the piss out of Romero. Poor guy. Some cash? I'm down to go cash. We've it's about that time of the day. Yeah, we'll do this one. I don't even know what it is. Just some good old fashioned Evan Jarvis. All right, while you guys doing that, give me a second. I need some caffeine. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Just gotta run to the other room here. Pull up my pants so I don't moon you. All right. All right. Oh yeah, you try to cheat, Ashes, but this looks like a 3-bet pot. Rut Road. Crips rolls like an exploitive ninja. All that yoga and mindset shit's true. He's all about it. He's one of those like that, microdosing and shit. He's all about it. No sweatpants. I'm wearing like plaid pajama bottoms. Like same thing, right? All right, cool. We got winners. Let's do this. Speak of the devil, Mr. Ashes, up right a bit. Gotta love the psychosyllabin? Yeah, I've been listening. You guys know some of my history. Like, I have an old school felony from that shit. But fucking nowadays, now that I'm old, I got time for that shit, man. I got like shit to do. Can't be fucked up all day and cracked out the next day. Fucking, man, too old. Sucks. Sucks when you get too old. Up against the meatball. We're gonna have Ashes on the main screen here. And there you go. There we go. Global Legend on Global Legend violence this time. In the cash streets, let's go.
Hello, Poker Coaching members. Evan Jarvis here for PokerCoaching.com, coming at you with another cash game quiz. Today we're playing some 50-cent, $1 no-limit Texas Hold'em over on PokerStars. Sitting at a 5-handed game, short stack on the right, and a couple of splashy players. Action starts with a $3 open from grade B, fold from 3-0's dad. Action is on us with King, Queen of clubs on the button. What should we do? Should we fold, call, raise to $9, or 3-bet to $12?
That's a good movie there, Brian. That's a good movie. I might like that character better than Smokey. I know that might be controversial. Not that I dislike Smokey. I'm trying to think of Homeboy's name. I can't think of his name right now. But I like that character. I think I saw it in the theaters. Ruby Rod. No, his real name. What are we doing here? 3X. What are we doing? King, Queen suited on the button. Meatball going 9. Chris Tucker. Thank you. That is. There you go. There you go. He's been doing a lot of stand-up lately. He's got a couple stand-ups. I think on Netflix is where they are. $12 can't be wrong. I said this was a splashy play, right? Call this depending on how much the bitches behind us are 3-betting, says this spree. I do think Sauer calls this hand a decent portion of the time, but I like 3-betting in position whenever the EVs are the same. So I think Ashes and Meatball both 3-betting. What size, Ashes? 9 or 12? There's some bagger stand-ups out there right now? Yeah. The last Kevin Hart one was pretty funny, too. Watch that. My wife and I watch a lot of stand-up. We've actually been going back and watching all the old Richard Pryor stand-ups recently. It's fun. 9. Everybody going 9. Yeah, I think 9's pretty standard. 12 in position, or out of position, 9 in position. Pretty standard. So this guy's splashy. Might size up because he's splashy, but standard's definitely 9. Definitely 9. Let's find out.
Now in this spot, I think there are a couple of options that do have some merit.
Do we call
one of them
ever
is gonna
in the
be
cash
superior
game
to the
streets?
others.
I feel
So
like we
in these
never call it in the
pre-flop
cash.
spots, these cash game spots, the easiest thing we can do is head on over to the tools section, Poker Coaching Premium. Put in that we're playing cash, 100 big blinds, hero position button versus a raise. And I can't quite pull it up on screen, but the opponent position is the hijack, right? Because we're on the button. That's the cutoff. That's the low jack. That's the hijack. This would be the hijack if someone was hitting here. This would be the low jack if it was a full table. But since there's no one here, this is the hijack. So we plug those variables in, and we can see that versus a raise from the hijack on the button with king queen suited, we are pure calling. If the open was from the low jack, doesn't change anything. Still looks like a call is preferred. And just for fun, we'll
30 minutes through the window, Brian. I got you.
King queen suited, still pretty clearly going to be a call. So that's the option we're going to take. The other option that has merit is not folding. It is 3-betting to something like $9. If we have some really tough players behind that perhaps we want to knock out of the pot,
you don't want to get
we could go for a 3-bet here. Generally, that's going to be preferred, though, with offsuit type hands rather than suited. With suited hands, we don't mind inviting the button or the big blind, the small blind, invite them into the party as well, because in a flush over flush situation, we're usually going to be the one doing the coolering rather than being coolered. So we flat, as does the small blind, as does the big blind, and we are 4 ways to a flop. Jack of clubs, 7 of clubs, 5 of clubs, and
that's a good flop.
Maybe we can get in that situation we were just talking about. Tarzan checks.
It is a good flop.
614, who is a random player with a 200 big blind stack, leads out for about half pot, and grade B folds. So action on us. We're facing a donk bet, a lead out in a 4-way pot. We flopped a flush, king high. What should we do facing this flop bet? Should we fold? Should we call? Should we raise to $15.50, or should we raise to $25?
All right. What the hell? Just donk leads the mono board. Just curious about his lack of hesitancy around multi-way pots. Yes and no. I mean, the solver pure called here. We saw it, right? Like, in theory, it's correct, homie. Meatball says 15. Fuck you. They're like, raising is a bad play. It's a pure trap unless we get stacked. Call for min max. Lots of calls, lots of calls, lots of calls, lots of calls. Setup's calling, lots of calls. Hey, call. Call. Calling EV should be same in the solver. Like 3-betting more than calling, says Ashes. What size? What day is cast? Thursday. Oh, no, Tuesday. Tuesday on the Poker Coaching Discord, which I will, we'll show that again in a second. 15's bad. We fold out all bluffs. There it is, right there. Exclamation point Discord to get into my Discord if you want to hang out. Talk about poker, chess, UFC, anything I find entertaining. Exclamation point PC Discord to get into the Poker Coaching Discord, where there are 6 free study groups a week, including this one, all recorded. Let me get up over in here. Here it is. There's a bunch of rooms going on. Here's our little event going on. All kind of rooms that you can check out. Mental game, Kieran's software, hand history rooms where I am in there every day pretty much. Answering stuff, cash games, quizzes, all this stuff in there. Also at the top of the rooms list, there is an event section. You can see right now there's 20 events. I update it every month. Here's the one we're in now. And you can see all of the study groups available for free! Exclamation point PC Discord. For fucking free. Get in there. Get in there. Ash is calling. Now I'm distracted because I was shilling. Ash is calling, and I think Meatball said 15 to stack them. Yeah. Cool. God, like, a big part of me wants to raise this. Because we're so fucking deep, like, how do we, how do we stack them otherwise? But the other thing is, like, people are just going to lead here, and, like, what raises do you ever have that aren't a flush? Like, do you ever raise ace jack? Hey, what up, buddy? Welcome to the Discord. Do you ever raise ace jack here? Facing a donk lead into 4 people. Raising sets? Maybe. Like, it's thin as fuck, right? And we have, like, this fucking second nuts. Like, we have no protection. So I think it's going to call here. But I get so greedy. I think it's going to call here. All right, 15-4. Meatball on the side screen. Ash is just calling. And
so the main things that we want to do in
Evan
this
likes
situation
to get greedy
is,
too.
firstly,
like
think about what type of hands
I
Lueck
like
is
it.
leading out with here. Are those hands strong type hands, extremely strong hands, weak hands, marginal hands? What kind of hands are we looking at? How often does he have a better hand than us? Not very often. How often do we have a better hand than him?
Calling can't be
Most
that
of the
bad.
time. How often does he have a hand that's
think,
strong enough to continue versus a raise?
Yeah,
That's going to
that's
be
the
the big
problem.
question. Because the other thing we're looking at here is
That's
the
the problem.
stack sizes here, the stack depth, and we can see that we're 200 big blinds deep. So because we are 200 big blinds deep, because our opponent is leading out with a hand that most of the time, or leading out with a range of hands that are
I like
mostly
it.
behind our king high flush here, and we're deep stack, we're probably going to want to be raising. If we were really shallow, if this guy only had like $40 or something, perhaps we just call to allow him to keep barreling off if he has some really weak bluff. But because we're so deep here, I think that raising is very important so that we have the best chance to get as much money from this player as possible. Also, since we're playing against a random player rather than a regular, this is the type of player who's more likely to overvalue something like top pair, a weak flush, some kind of marginal draw, the ace of clubs. And therefore, we can extract a lot of money from this player with a proper raise. So I obviously don't like folding. Calling doesn't feel right given the particular stack depth, the type of player we're up against, and the range of hands they're usually going to be leading out with here.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to fucking post this.
If our opponent has a very weak hand, we might still get one bet out of him with the raise. It's the same as we get if you bet the turn. But if our opponent has, say, 2 pair, a set, weaker flush, where scare cards can come versus that weaker flush, or action killers can come against the 2 pairs.
I kind of agree, Monkey.
It's very important that we build the pot now when our
super
opponent is more
conflicted.
likely to believe that his hand is good. So I like a raise here. I went with 1550 in game. If you went with 25, I like it as well. That's the type of raise where we may knock out those 1 pair type hands, those jack queens, ace jacks that do not have a club. But if he has something with the ace of clubs, he's going to continue. And if he has 2 pair or better, he's definitely going to continue. With that larger raise size to 25,
Yeah, because the small blind's like
we have a
never
better chance of
continuing.
actually getting all in by the river. So we'll have $60 in the middle with about 150 behind, 2 more streets. More possible we can get all in. My particular raise size was to ensure that as much of my opponent's range of hands as possible would continue, rather than just narrowing it down to the really, really good stuff. So we raised 1550. Lueck calls. Turn is a 5 of spades, pairing the bottom card on the board. Our opponent now checks to us. 43 in the middle, 160 behind effective. What should we do? Should we bet $15, bet $35, bet $55, or bet $75?
Here we go. Here we go. The problem thing is about the small blind ashes. Like, they're just coming along so infrequently. So infrequently. When this guy donks into 4 players and gets a call, like, and none of that, but like it was a raise pre, right? It was a raise and a 3-bet pre, right? So like small blind shouldn't even. No. It was a raise, a call, and he overcalled. It was a raise, a call, and he overcalled. I can't think of too much that hits this board when he overcalls, though. Is he overcalling 6-8? Me? 9-10 shit is in hell? Right? Meatball, 35, good to go. Ash is also 35, good to go. Same thing on the flop. 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. Everybody 35. Valley says, yeah, it's a multi-league stream because Sixes is usually here, but his kid's got football. He'll be here next week. And it's multi-link, so you can watch us both. $55. 55 is over pot. Misty says 55. It's one of those things we were talking about earlier in the stream, too. Coincidentally, Valley was late. But I don't believe we have overbets when there are straights and or flushes on the board. Those usually come out. 35 feels pretty natural. I would say 35 because of that, 2/3 pot or so. Let's find out. Yep.
Once again, we want to think about the types of hands our opponent could have and how much he's willing to call with each of those hands. Now, if our opponent has a hand like top pair, a jack, he's definitely calling $15, probably calling $35 as well. If we go over bet and go 55 or 75, I think our opponent's probably folding those one pair jack hands unless perhaps he has the ace of clubs. I think this opponent type with the ace of clubs is probably willing to call $55, but if we go to 75, he's probably going to be folding. If our opponent had two pair or a set, and we'll look at the more likely two pairs of 5-7 as opposed to jack 7. Well, in that case, our opponent has made a full house on this turn. Same with sevens, same with jacks. So against those hands, we would want to keep the pot smaller. Obviously, technically, we wouldn't want to build it at all, but we're going to be playing against his entire range, not just the nutted hands in his range. So with those factors in play, I think that if we want to try to get all the money in the middle, then going with 55 here is going to get the job done. His smaller flushes are definitely going to continue. His ace jacks with the ace of clubs are probably going to continue. If he has some random 5, I guess ace 5 with the ace of clubs is definitely going to continue. Those hands are going to continue for 55, and then we'll have about 150 in the middle with 100 behind on the end. We should be able to get everything in. 75 is unnecessarily large. It's going to get called by a similar range of hands, maybe a few less, but we don't need to bet that big to get all in by the river. That being said, I didn't want to just target the smaller flushes and the ace of clubs in his range. I really wanted to include the jack X type hands there. So rather than going for the full stack here, I decided that going with 35 would enable me to still get close to stacks on the river. Once our opponent calls, there's going to be about 110 in the middle with 125 behind. So we can get the majority of his chips in with the river bet. But this way we don't scare a jack out of the picture. 15 was way too small. That's why I got the least points. And I think 35 or 55 are the best bets here. Our opponent calls, and the river is the ace of clubs, which means our opponent does not have the ace of clubs in their hand. Opponent checks, 111 in the middle, 125 effective behind. What should you do? Should you check? Should you bet $10? Should you bet $55? Or should you go all in?
What are we doing on the river? I mean, it's a little bit Wild West here with this guy donking. Monkey, but like at the same time, like people just do that on mono boards and paired boards, right? They never have it, they donk. So we still want to play against, a range. And if we go too big, things like two pairs start to fold out. Maybe not so much on the turn then when they get boats, but in general, two pairs starts to fold out. You start to push out Jack X. And then the ace of clubs when we don't know that it's, not in the deck. Or not in his hand because it's in the deck on the turn. So this all seems pretty standard. Pretty standard. All right, let's draw up here. That's a good card. Oh, fuck. Matt Nickel ripping it. That's an awful card. 55 says Ashes. Controversy right out the gate. Both Matts, Min Matt and Matt Nickel ripping it. Rip for Missy. Which I thought perfect setup for the jam, but with the ace of clubs, what can we get value from? Maybe only both calls a jam. I think so. With like a very small bet to minus Probably check and hero call, except we are in position here, contrast. So check just shows down. Shove for setups. Bet small, hope for a raise, says Buzz. He could not have a queen high flush because we have the queen high flush, Meatball. Meatball. Betting 10% bet. $55, and we're definitely calling, like, we have the nuts. So, calling off for sure, no matter what happens. If we're beat, we're beat. Oh, you guys are worried about the boat. I see. When you're saying this isn't the nuts, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not worried about the boat. I didn't even consider that. I was like, we have the nuts. I didn't even consider the boat. Hey, cod shove. Monkey shoves. $55 for Ashes. Jamland's 55. So a couple things in mind, like generally we don't have less than 50% bot bets on the river in position, so I don't really have a small bet in position here. So 55 to me seems like we get called by what we're looking for is the 10 of clubs, right? If we jam, they can't really call with anything but a boat because we have all of the good club cards. So I can't see jamming. Being a thing. How do we get called? So like I would go 55 personally. Ashes 155 too. $10, like no small bets in position. Why would we go 10%? Like you can get 55 and still get called by the 10 of clubs. Way more than 10%. So let's find out. Ashes 155, and I believe Meatball jammed it. I'm pretty darn sure he jammed it way up here. No, he bet 10. Let's find out. Fucking, he likes blocking
now,
it.
this is a very interesting river card.
I don't know if this is
our
the thing.
opponent was drawing
I
a
could
flush,
be wrong.
The ace of clubs is the most likely card.
I don't know. This is
other
the thing.
flushes that he could be drawing to, 10 of clubs, 9 of clubs, things of that nature. If our opponent already had a flush, he's not liking his hand as much anymore. So in game, I made a mistake here because I just checked, thinking, well, we have the king of clubs and the queen of clubs. The ace of clubs just came out. What club can he call us with? The 10 of clubs? The 9 of clubs? And I didn't really think that there was a bet that he could call with those hands because I was more so focused on getting maximum value, and this river just kind of messed up my plans. I think going all in on this river would only get us called by a full house. I don't think we're getting hero called by a weaker flush.
Agreed.
I think if we bet half pot, it's still pretty hard for him to call even with the 10 of clubs. But if we go for a really small bet here, like $10 or perhaps $20, even though I didn't make it an option, that's the kind of bet that our opponent, if they flopped a flush, would make a frustrating crying call. If they have Jack 10 with the 10 of clubs or Jack 9 with the 9 of clubs, he's probably going to make a call with that hand. So I think betting small,
I don't mind those
the maximum
30,
value.
35, 37.
The one issue
those seem pretty good to
is
me
that
too.
Occasionally we are going to be beat by a full house, and when we bet small, we reopen the betting. So we need to know how we are going to react to a check raise if we bet small and our opponent raises. And that really comes down to knowing your opponent. If you know your opponent is prone to pouncing on weakness and likes to attack, then perhaps going for a bet call on the river makes sense. I'm just seeing if we can get his river aggression frequency here. Although I don't think we have a big enough sample for it to really matter. River aggression frequency, yeah. Nothing to write home about. Okay. And yeah. we have to know how we're going to proceed versus that. If our opponent's extremely tight, then betting small to get value from those 10x might make sense, but then we have to fold to raise. I didn't really feel like I knew enough about my opponent to know how to react to the check raise if faced, and therefore I didn't want to reopen the betting. That's why I chose to check, because I felt on this particular river it was unlikely we were going to get called. I would have been betting on almost all of the rivers, but this one really just slowed down the action for me. In retrospect, after studying, I think that betting small here on the end extracts a bit more value. Again, we just need to be prepared for what we're going to do facing a check raise. So we check behind. Our opponent shows Jack Queen with no club. And we see that given his particular hand, our sizing choices on all the streets were pretty good. And if the river had not been a club, we probably could have got that $55 of value or so. So just an unlucky river, but I'm very happy with how we played the hand and feel like we extracted the maximum for this particular opponent. So we ship the pot and we get stacking. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this quiz. This has been Evan Jarvis for PokerCoaching.com. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Scared. He was scared. Yeah, I mean, one way you stop that exploit of them attacking your 10% bet in position, which is never a thing, don't bet 10% bet in position. Bet 30, 35% and still get called by the 10x. I would think. We can't really run this in the solve because it was 4-way and it got weird, but I would think. Meatball doing pretty good, though. 37 points. Crushing it. Crushing it. Grip's hands don't suck. Just respectfully disagree with this particular quiz on the river specifically. It all made sense until the river to me. All right, I think we got time for one more. Oh, we need a fucking keyword. Fuck. New keyword is Jarvis. Oh wait, I misspelled it, so it doesn't count if you're doing it now. Hang on. Oh, that still count. Hang on. We're having issues. Jarvis. Oh, there you go. Cool, master. 10%. That's a good one. I like 10%, but we're too deep now. We're too deep now. In fairness, neither did he. This is true, Monkey Man. This is true. All right, we're gonna go Affleck. I guess we'll just pick a random one. Don't matter. All right. Let you guys do that. All right. Ready to pick a winner. Winner. Oh, fuck. It's contest. There goes $5. Up. Oh, wait. Puck's supposed to have a good fight. Pucks knows his shit. This is a good battle right here. Oh, fuck, because you're just going to sweep it. You're just going to... It sucks for the people going against you, contrast. For me, I'm going to lose $5 either way. It don't matter. Don't matter to me. Puck's got to put up a good fight, though. This is a nice battle. This should be good. This is a pretty fair fight. Can I give you some? Sure, absolutely. There. Maybe I'll do that one sec. All right, let's play this and find out.
All right, in this hand, we have ace-10 offsuit in the cutoff with 20 big blinds. We go ahead and raise it up and get called by the button. And the flop comes queen of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 8 of clubs. Should we check? bet 2 big blinds, bet 4 big blinds, or bet 6 big blinds.
All right, there is the gift sub courtesy of Mr. Meatball. All right, what are we doing here? Cutoff versus button. And Puck's coming on right away with the check. So is Mr. Contrast. 4 for Buzznuts. Check for Ashes. 2 for Said. 2 for Sorry. Check for Akon. Check for Randy. Check with a question mark for Peanut. Mid-Mac going to. Yeah, cutoff first button. I mean, it's weird because pair boards are the ones that have some exception to them, but massively checking cutoff versus button. It's like 80% of the time with 80% of range here. Like, you just crazy checks cutoff versus button. I mean, you check a lot out of position anyway, but here is like one of the highest checkpoints for sure. I check range here. With range here most of the time. That's what the solver does. So, but paired boards are an exception. So it might bet small, but we don't have any 8x in our range, so that's a problem. Cool. So both Pucks and Contrast are checking. Let's go. There it is. I tried to warn you.
You get away with a little bit of betting here, but my standard in these types of spots is to do a lot of checking out of position as the pre-flop raiser. We will have some suited 8s here. Neither player really has an 8 that often.
Oh, Spring knows
here,
all the stories. I
know,
gotta get better stories. They're new stories.
You can have King Queen, Queen Jack, which are hands we have. We just don't have a lot of advantages here, and you could argue here we don't even necessarily have an aces and kings advantage. A lot of GTO range charts show that you should be slow playing more. Stacks get shorter here, so it's pretty reasonable here. The button could have a strategy to flat aces and kings here as well. So not a ton of advantages here. If you wanted to bet 2 big blinds, we have a ton of diamonds, especially if we had a club and diamond. You could bet 2 big blinds here. It's probably fine, but I think checking is kind of normally my preferred option, which we do. And we face this, 4.7 and a 7, like kind of 2/3 pot bet-ish. Should we fold, call, raise to 10 big blinds, or go all in?
I mean, cutoff versus button, it's just massive check spot. Massive check spot. 99% of range. Yep. As Spree said, this is one of the first spots I studied really, really, really hard when I got piled. Absolutely. We face a bet, and it's a size-up bet. What do we do? Sudhab says, fuck this shit. You ain't got no 8, homie. Puck's side-calling. And Contrast folding. Rut-row. We are parting ways. This is the moment of truth. Monkey folding. Peanut calling. This is the moment of truth. Ooh, fold's starting to come in here. Sorry, folding. There you go, I'm folding. Folding for Buzznuts. Straight folding. This is a funny spot, man. Fuck me. This is so cuspy. Like ace jack. Are we ever folding ace jack here? Contrast, you ever folding ace jack here? Nah. No way. This feels like the cry call for me too. This feels like the cry call for me too with this good of an ace. I would fold some worse aces for sure. And cuspy too, like ace 9 am I calling? Oy. Maybe with a diamond because I have all the backdoor draws and the over. Ace 7 never, right? So like fuck. And we have a diamond? Fuck. Yep. Just don't like ace 10. Well, that's not a good way to play. I'd rather call with king of diamonds, 10 of clubs, or ace of diamonds and a jack. Well, I don't know if you really want a king or a jack. Like, you block their bluffs with a jack. I don't think you want a jack. Really cuspy, Ashes. Really cuspy. Alright, let's find out. Puck's called and contrast folded. Puck's called and contrast folded. This is how close it is.
Really
call
close
is
here.
9 points.
Big bet.
It's cuspy as fuck.
Without a diamond, we have an easy fold. With the ace of diamonds, I think we have an easy call. With the 10 of diamonds,
This is cuspy as medical marijuana.
seems kind of dicey, is the word I like to use here. Some backdoor straight draws. Kind of like the 10 of diamonds. Who knows how much it's worth here. I kind of like to overfold a bit to these big bets. I think people can find the value easy with the big bets. However, they really struggle to find bluffs like, you know, king of diamonds 10 or, you know, ace of diamonds, you know, ace 5 of hearts or something like that. Like, they really struggle to find like these low equity bluffs here. So versus the bigger bet here, I think folding is completely reasonable and probably, looking now, my preferred option. I think calling is, you know, very reasonable as well. I think like min raising or something, you know, if we were a little deeper, I'd prefer the min raise a little bit, like, or I'd like it more. I don't prefer it, but like, you know, if you wanted to justify, hey, this is one of the borderlines hands, so I'm going to turn this into a bluff, you know, I can get behind that mindset as well here too. But I just don't think there's enough bluffs. Like, this range is not weak enough to entice us to, you know, put more money in the pot here. So I think folding is my preferred, but there. So we call. We see the 4 diamonds on the turn. We check to the better, who now kind of slows down with this 5 big blind bet. Should we fold, call, or go all in?
Ooh. My votership is growing. It's because 6 is in here, right? So since 6 is in here, you guys are forced to just come to me and not split the audience, right? Damn. Sadhab's ripping. Ash is calling. Puck's humming. This sucks and calls, says Peanut. I'll be back next week, Spree. Meatball says call. Hey, Coin says call. But if you jam, a marginal queen and worst pair is in hell. Puck's going with call. If we call, we have to get 5 bigs on the turn. It really makes no sense to fold if we call on the flop. Call. So call for both players. Yeah. I think I would call here and jam the ace of diamonds more often. I was thinking that 4 is not the best card to jam on. Like, If the 4 was something that gave us some more equity, like a jack or something, I think becomes better. Because now we have a king, a 9, and a diamond. And potentially an ace. I think I would call here. This sucks, though. I mean, this is definitely scared. Downsize is usually a scared thing. I mean, we do downsize here when flush completes, but I don't know that we downsize this much. I think we call. Let's find out. Yep.
So the 4 diamonds comes in. This player's still kind of just repping like king queen, and we have quite a bit of equity here against king queen. We could be in really bad shape though if it has the king of diamonds in it. But again, this bet is just small enough that if we're calling this flop bet, we need to be calling turn bet here with the 10 of diamonds. We just have enough going on here. There's some hands we could still potentially beat. You know, maybe ace of diamonds 9 or something if they ever bet that. But yeah, this is a really dicey spot. I don't hate fold, but I rather would have folded the flop. I think folding the flop is way more justified here than folding the turn. So I think calling here is just what I would do. I don't really like shoving. We have really good equity against the bluffs. So like I don't think there's a lot of like merit in folding out the bluffs. So yeah, I think just calling here and seeing the river. Deuce of hearts, you know, nothing changes. We're not going to be leading much here when nothing changes. So we check. And our opponent checks back, and we get lucky. They show the bluff, the jack 9 of clubs that didn't follow through, and we take down a nice spot.
Oh, shit. There you go. There you go. Contrast with the obvious swish. Obviously. Why don't you be, like, so, like, less obvious contrast and, like, throw a point here and there. When was the last time fucking contrast lost a point in a quiz? He's the GOAT. He's the greatest quizzer of all time. Hands down. Not even fucking trolling. Greatest quizzer of all time. Pucks, you put up a hell of a fight though. Getting that little 9 in the middle there on the flop, which was totally reasonable, right? Great. You put up a hell of a fight. I got a point wrong last quiz. I said fold on the river with a 0. Oh, see, look, he doesn't miss much, but when he does, he gets goosed. There you go. Polarized strategy by contrast. Super good run, guys. Super good run. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Thanks for the love. Yeah, man. That's all I got for you. We got it. 6 will be here next week. I'm sure he's streaming tomorrow. Check him out. Oh shit. My mod is gone. I have to do the shilling. Exclamation point YouTube in the chat if you want to see this one from the beginning. Or any of the ones we've seen in the past with all our illustrious guests and my co-host Crazy Sixes when he is most of the time here. Here is his link, Crazy Sixes, so you can still give him love and check him out. He's amazing and awesome and a hell of a good guy. If you want to join my Discord and hang out with me and all things toe, there is the link for my Discord. PC Discord is a must. Free content, study groups, recorded. Check them out. Hand history rooms, all that stuff, all free. What did I miss? Exclamation point PC in the chat if you want to sign up for this site where you get 10 free quizzes, big blind charts for 100 blinds or more, and access to some of the webinars. Check that out. Cash Game Advanced class coming out soon. I'm running sims for Jay Saliba as we speak. And thanks for all the love, guys. I appreciate y'all. You guys are awesome. I'm going to throw the host over to the most dramatic of DJs. And that's it. Let me get that going so I can do that and not be lying to you. We kill this. We go here. We click. No, we just clipped something by accident. We raid. That is not the raid. Dramatic. There he is. We'll start raid. How long does it take to run those simple 3-way sims? The algorithm has improved considerably. It takes about 10 minutes for a 100 blind multi-way sim now. They've done some great changes to it, so worth the money. But their payment processor is down, so you have to you can only pay with crypto, which is really weird and sucky. But I just did it, and it seems legit. So there you go. All right, guys. Multinationals, good luck, buddy. We'll see you later. Peace.